From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello, welcome to Stumped. I'm Alison Mitchell in London and I'm joined by Clint Wheeldon from the ABC who's in Perth. Now, there were wild celebrations and a party which might still be going on in parts of Adelaide as South Australia won their first Sheffield Shield title in 29 years. It was in fact 10,588 days since South Australia last got their hands on the Sheffield Shield with a team that included the likes of Jason Gillespie and Darren Lehmann. Well, fast forward to 2025 and it's Lehmann's son Jake who is integral to the win as he scored a century to help South Australia beat Queensland by 4 wickets. And Jake joins us now. Jake, welcome to Stumped. How was that final as an occasion?
You know, looking back on it now, I feel like the move from probably Adelaide Oval to Canberra and over to a smaller ground felt probably a little bit more enclosed with everyone in there and probably gave the option for all the crowd to run on. So to actually see that and be there and just see the joy on so many people's faces and, you know, it's been a long time for South Australia to have that success. So yeah, it was just amazing and probably the ground swap benefited all that came after it.
Yeah, we'll just fill people in. It was a little bit controversial that the game couldn't go ahead at Adelaide Oval because it's the football season and the AFL wouldn't allow the cricket match to be played, so it had to be played on the smaller ground. But I mean, when that crowd flooded on at the end, what was that like for all of you? I mean, yeah, the two batters were in the middle, I suppose, but I mean, modern day players are not used to crowd invasions.
Yeah, it's been funny. They kind of showed the highlights a fair bit on social media and on the news and stuff throughout the week, and there was talk about it. But you know, you just probably don't expect it this day and age, like you said, for it to actually happen. And for that, you know, that last probably 5-6 runs, you could see people kind of gathering towards the fence, and a few of the kids and people had their legs on the ground and ready to go, and the security guards were up, and then it just happened. And to watch Ben and Jason get absolutely mauled. I think Ben was covered in beer and water and everything as he came off. And basically, he basically said, "Oh, I couldn't really see where I was going and didn't really know what to do." And the security guards kind of ushered him back up into the ground. Michael Nessa grabbed Sanger's bat because he dropped it, and someone tried to grab his bat. So yeah, it was just chaos in all instances.
I feel like we shouldn't condone that type of behaviour, but in this instance, we're going to let it go. I mean, it was because 29 years ago, all the fans ran onto the field to celebrate with the players. So that was why the crowd wanted to recreate that exact moment. And then, of course, you had a celebration, didn't you, in the city, in Rundle Mall with the Premier and the squad up on stage with the public again. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was actually really cool as well. I think the Premier and that have been a massive supporter of sport in general in South Australia, and he really respects what I guess sport does for us as a state, and to gather all the fans, all our families, all the SACA members and support staff behind the scenes, you know, like to just have that little moment a couple of days later to enjoy it with all of them was phenomenal.
Jake, there's a famous photo from back in 1996 when SA beat or have a draw with WA but win the Shield because of it. You sitting on your father's knee, him posing with the trophy. Did you ever think that you would get a chance to pose yourself with that trophy, and have you reflected on that photo over the last couple of days?
Yeah, I've seen it, I guess, a fair bit, and probably don't remember it too much, only being 3. But you know, I always thought throughout my career that we've been building a couple of times to this moment and just missed out in the past. And you know, it probably makes it a little bit more special now that, you know, funnily enough, I do have a daughter, Roxy, who was 3, and you know, she was loving it, and every day she kept saying, "Oh, is it medal day yet? Is it medal day yet?" And you know, it looked pretty good after the first couple of days, but after day 3, I was like, "Oh no, maybe we've jumped the gun a little bit early here." But that last day with Kez and saying they were just phenomenal.
Ask you about Alex Carey in just a moment, but just on your dad, both Ali and myself are lucky enough to work with him on the ABC across the summer. How much of an influence has your father been on your career? And is it tough when you have had a dad who has been as successful as Darren has been to sort of step out of his shadow?
Yeah, I guess I probably acknowledged it early, in terms of stepping out of the shadow and try to put it out that if I was half as good as him, I'm going to have a pretty good career, and I'm probably it's probably looking a little bit like that, and that along the way I've got some small milestones that he doesn't have, which is a Shield final 100, which is nice.
You told
But
him about that,
nah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, nah, he's actually been phenomenal. He's probably let me grow up and be the person that I want to be, and probably just let me fall in love with the game and sport in general, and just supported and backed me, and whether it was even AFL footy, cricket, and then just it's probably the benefit of having the small insights of someone that's done it for a long period of time, and if things aren't going well, he can help me talk through that and situations, and backing myself in and my process and realizing my strengths. So, yeah, it's obviously definitely an advantage. But the one thing I give him massive credit for is letting him me be the person that I wanted to be.
You mentioned Alex Carey a moment ago. Just as a cricket fan in this country, in Australia, I love how in what is such a tough and congested series in summer, there's so much on. Whenever he is available, he goes and makes himself available for his state, not just when you've been winning, but through all those tough times as well. How influential is it to have that sort of commitment to SA cricket from someone like Alex Carey?
Yeah, he's been absolutely phenomenal. If you look at his numbers and output over the last 18 months for Australia in any format, they've been fantastic. And when he's come back for us, he hasn't just stuffed around and wanted to play. He's played hard and put his head down. And I reckon he nearly averages 90 for us this year, which is ridiculous. He's got 400s, and probably done them at a time when we needed him to do them. But regardless of all of that, like the person that he is around the group, the levelness that he brings, the calmness that he brings, the direction that he's pushed the group in when Nathan McSweeney was away, was just, yeah, infectious. I'd say is the right word. He's an infectious person, and he just drives it.
What sort of impact did Ryan Harris immediately have on this group that had been through, as we mentioned, wooden spoons, that had tough times, comes in as coach and has immediate success? What was the difference that he was able to bring?
Yeah, well, we had him the year before as a bowling coach, and you could see that he had hunger and desire, but he also had like a bit of brutal honesty, and just really picked apart the small bits. In professional sport, it can be just those 1 to 5 percenters that you need to fix, and for us that was probably a few little training standards, ideas, and putting a few players under a little bit more pressure, probably including myself, to just try and find that 5% more, 1% more, and win those big battles that come over 4-day cricket, which is why we play the game, to win those small little battles that end up cultivating in a win.
And what of Nathan McSweeney, Jake? Because he went through a bit of a turbulent year, didn't he? The elevation to the Test team and then the dropping, but he comes back and now he leads SA to the Shield title. How have you seen him deal, with the course of the last sort of 6 months?
Yeah, he's an outstanding young man. I think it's only Steve Smith and Nathan McSweeney that's won the T20s, one days, and Shield now. Um, forever, like in Australia. So that just shows you something about the leader and the person that he is. But yeah, I think it's always hard when you come up against a Test series and you're playing India, who was batting out of position. But that also shows the selectors backed him in, and he has a skill set that everyone thinks is phenomenal. And I've got no doubt in my mind that he'll play for Australia again at some point in his career. He's far too good of a player and a far too good of a leader of men at such a young age, and a consistent, driven person.
You think England might have to deal with him in the Ashes? Could it be that soon he gets a recall?
Yeah, well, you just don't know. I think they said the other day that there was 6 to 8 players or something that have batted in the positions that were up for grabs on contract, and he's obviously missed out on that, and when they've gone with Sam. But yeah, I don't see it long at all. I would, if I got to pick the team, I'm having him in my team.
Well, your dad is, of course, over in England at the moment now, head coach of Northamptonshire. He was up through the night, wasn't he, following the Shield final?
Yeah, he's at Northamptonshire. He's absolutely loving it. I think county cricket's been awesome for me every time I've gone over there, and he's also loved it with all the time that he spent at Yorkshire and now there. But yeah, he said that there was 4 or 5 days of training, and when you're up at 3, 4 in the morning, that's probably not ideal. So hopefully they get off to a good start, and he's a bit fresher leading to that first game next week.
Jake, many congratulations. Great to share in your celebration stories. Well done. And thank you for being with us on Stumped. That is Jake Lehmann, Sheffield Shield winner with South Australia. My thanks to Jake and to Clint Wheeldon, and of course to all of you. That's all we've got time for on Stumped this week, but we'll see you again next for some more.